Yesterday I had a complaint from someone that it was not so loud and clear. I have my microphone, and if one requires to be a little more louder, this is my microphone, and I'll use it. If you somebody from your side asks me to use my microphone and be a little louder, I would be louder using this. Then again, I was giving another lecture few minutes ago, just 10 minutes ago, and this is my, you can say, continuous second lecture for a different field, contracts and procurement types of contracts. So let us be very straight. Thank you for joining me, and I'll start with types of contracts and their uses in different parts of the world. So let me begin with the type of contracts. I have divided the types of contracts into various industries. First is the infrastructure, retail, energy and power, then logistics, and mostly international types of contracts, keeping in the region of Asia, Asia Pacific, EMEA, Europe, Middle East, and African region, then the US and the Canada region. Because yesterday also there was a requirement from USA people that I should be telling something about the USA, and I have left USA. It's not like this that I am leaving USA. I am already working for USA, and I am already working for you people. So here I am uh, giving you the types of contracts in the regions for APAC, EMEA, USA, and Canada region. So let us start with the infrastructure. Now, in infrastructure, there are various types of contract. Infrastructure includes construction, roads, railways, and various other industries. So, in infrastructure, there is design build contract. In infrastructure project, a design build contract combines both the design and construction phases. One entity, often a contractor or consortium, is responsible for both designing and building the project. Then there is a public-private partnership, PPP contracts. Public-private partnership contracts involve cooperation between a government entity and a private sector. The company has to finance the design and build and operate and maintain the infrastructure projects. It, it goes on an agreement with the government that it has to design, build, operate, and maintain the infrastructure project. Now, they often require a complex risk sharing arrangements that the government takes care of the risk involved. In general, the risk is also borne by the private party who goes on in these contracts. Then it is EPC contract, which is again in the infrastructure field. EPC contracts is engineering, procurement, and construction contract. EPC contract is common in large-scale infrastructure projects, say a railway line, a bridge, a monument, a great statue, a major housing project, a power project, anything. It is specified that one party, the EPC contractor, will provide engineering, procurement, and construction services for the project, often on a turnkey basis. Turnkey means whole of the thing. So this is for the infrastructure. Then, since these are type of contracts, we are going for the industries. Most of the industries I have taken retail, infrastructure, logistics, and power and energy, because I generally belong to an industry called power and energy, in which there is a lot of contractual work, including the oil and gas, including the energy systems, energy managements, and various other contractual obligations, in which these are large projects and goes to sub let to consultants and subcontractors. I hope you understand. So again, this is what I have been telling you. Let us go for the retail segment now. The retail segment has a master service agreement. Now, what a retail is? Retail is like the FMCG, means somebody is selling soaps, which is a daily consumption, soaps, toothpaste, uh, food items, anything which is used and consumed on a daily basis, called fast moving consumer goods industry. It's a retail industry. My experience in the retail segment only lies to for the early period of my life, in which I was involved with a company called uh, PN SafeTech, which is now one of the largest company who has taken over the world as the largest manufacturer and maker of PPE. PPE is personal protective equipment. So equipments are also in the retail. Anything selling like your television, your mobile, your fridge, even your protection equipment, anything. It's a retailing. Okay, so there is a master service agreement in retail. Master service agreements are common for establishing long-term relationships. That was also explained yesterday in the procurement sector, but in this contracts, it has a master service agreements which are common for establishing long-term relationship between the retailer and a supplier and a sales provider. Then is a supply agreement. These contracts are defined the terms under which a supplier provides goods or produce products to a retailer. They cover aspects like pricing or delivery schedules, standard and warranties. There should be a supply agreement. These contracts are defined as per the agreements. There is a supply agreement and the terms under which the supplier provides goods or products to a retailer. They cover aspects like pricing, delivery schedules, quality standard, and the warranties. That under certain warranties, say in 6 months, if your fan or your laptops is uh, not functioning properly, they will provide you free of cost uh, change or cover the warranty, make the changes in your laptop or cover the things which are there written in the warranty agreement. Then this is called a supply agreement. This is a contract. A warranty is also a contract between the customer and the service provider. So these type of contracts are there in the retail industry. Then there's a franchisee agreement. Franchisee agreements are used for expand their brand. Say McDonald's is there, uh, even Asus, Lenovo, your Apple, they have their own franchisee, that they have a distributor or a retailer who goes on agreement that he will keep certain part of the profit, and the risk of the business will also be shared as per the agreements. My another job is to make these agreements, and I do these agreements virtually. 3 4 agreements are done on a daily or a monthly basis. So if anyone requires these agreements, supply agreements, master service agreements, or a franchisee agreements, email. My details are coming showing in your slide, or it is coming on the video. You can ask me and give me a ping on my mobile number, which is also shown in this. It is here. See. Okay, so you can see it is right here, which is here is my mobile number, and you can ask me to make your request. Okay, then again there. I hope everybody has understood this master service agreement, supply agreements, and the franchisee agreement. Then coming to energy and power. Why I have taken energy and power and logistics as industries, maybe your question, but in general, if you take the whole industries, say the logistic industries, which the transportation and the warehousing and the third parties logistics are there. So these are the large industries. These are not small industries, and they are backbone of each and every industry. So I have to take the logistic industry as a part of this uh, lecture for the types of contracts. Then you may be asking why energy and power. So energy and power is another big industry which is mostly run on contracts. So there is a power purchase agreement, even the sugar industry or the boilers, which any industry which uses boilers, thermal power, or I think each and every manufacturing industry also uses these, and they have agreement with their energy providers. So they people can understand that whatever these industries are, and they can ask me their questions, leave me or ping me on my mobile number, or ask me a question right now and I'll answer them. Okay, so in energy and power, there is a power purchase agreement, which is again a type of contract. The PPAs are critical in energy sector. They establish the terms under which the power producer sells electricity to the buyer. Even your solar power, your uh, generator, and anything which is making power or energy is coming under the power purchase agreement. Then exploration and production, E&P contract. E&P contract in the oil and gas industries are used to get grant rights to explore and extract hydrocarbons from specific area. In the power industry or the energy industry, which is oil, gas, natural resources, anything, the these industries are used to explore and extract hydrocarbons from specific areas, offshore, in the remote, anywhere you take. These agreements are much needed, and these are part of every industry. Then there is offtake agreement. These agreements are used in renewable energy projects to secure buyer for the energy generated. Offtake agreements are commit to purchase the energy and produce it agreed on terms. See, in general, what happens is the solar power or the solar generator, even the wind energy, they do not operate when there is no wind or there is no uh, sunlight. Again, in the hydropower sector as well, in the hydropower sector, mostly it happens that the renewable energy are used to secure buyers for the energy generated. Off takers commit the purchasing energy to produce that these are agreed upon terms, that they have made an agreement on these terms, and then they can use to make those agreements. Did not understand. Okay, I'll explain it again. See, in any industry, mostly in the renewable energy, hydropower, they are or so solar or the wind. We take the wind, the solar power, or when there is no water supply, say, or the water supply is low, they are not able to make that particular amount of electricity, or they are not able to make that particular amount of power. So then in this energy and power sector, they have to make a offtake, that when there is no, then they have to make other arrangements, another arrangements to generate those powers and meet the requirements of that oil or anything. Got it? Thank you. Okay. Now logistics. Logistics, mostly there are. Uh, I'll come to you in that MOU or agreement. Difference between MOU and agreement, I will come that personally. But let us start very straight away. What is logistic? Logistic is transportation agreement. Transportation is the company is transport has to be made to reach in a certain amount of goods to the warehouses or to their destination, and their pricing delivery schedule should be met. Their liability and handling of goods can be met. Warehousing agreement, these contracts are used to establish arrangement for the storage, handling, and distribution of goods in the warehouses. Warehouse, these days, if you take all the four industries of my selection, the infrastructure, uh, the retail, logistics, and power and energy. They cover all the broad sector, almost major industries of the whole world. My point was to take the logistic into account is that logistics is also part of the big picture which you see. Logistics companies are often used for transportation agreements to define the terms of shipping goods. They cover aspects like pricing, delivery schedule, liability, and handling of goods. Warehousing agreements, these contracts are used to establish arrangements for the storage, handling, and distribution of goods in the warehouses. They, the detailed terms used for storage fees. This will be the storage fees for a particular amount of time. But again, if you are making a warehousing agreement from me, I take in person, in general, all the aspects so that no party, whoever is leasing the warehouse or whoever is renting the warehouse, go on a loss. The warehouse aspect is such that sometimes it happens due to bad storage, the uh, things or the equipments, even your food items, the FMCG, anything may get damaged. So these have to be covered in a liability statement as well. The storage fees, inventory management, how much they are paying for the management of the industry, how much part is taken from the warehouse. These things are taken into account. Then there are third party logistics contract. The third party logistics contracts is there when outsourcing logistics services to a company using the 3PL, which is called the third party contract, the third party logistic contract, to define the services provided by the third party logistic provider. These may include transportation, warehousing, inventory management. Third party, I hope you understood. Third party is understood to every, I think everybody is professional over here. I'll explain again for those. Okay, thank you. So everybody has understood what is a third party logistics. A third party logistics is that uh, in which the first party say I'm the client, the second party is the customer, the third party is taking into account each and everything and making uh, their own parts, doing the thing on their part, keeping into the contracts between the first party, which is the client, and the customer, and the third party takes care of each and everything in the logistics segment. Got it? Each of these contracts comes with a unique characteristic and requirements. Each has its unique characteristics and unique requirements. Now let us go and feel like what types of companies use these things in particular region. I told you in the beginning of my session that there is these things are used in mostly APAC, Asia Pacific, and EMEA, the European, Middle East, and African regions, USA and Canada region. I'll give the example of major companies using these type of contracts. Okay, now to start with the APAC region, which is Asia Pacific region, the EPC contracts are generally used by Samsung, Hyundai, China State Construction Company, which is in China, then Larsen and Toubro in India. Then the distribution agreements, the distribution like things which is used in the APAC region is Unilever. Unilever is basically a UK and Netherlands company. The distribution agreements are also used by Procter and Gamble. Okay, now thank you. These things now you are understand. The Procter and Gamble, these types of contracts are generally used, but these are not made by any employee. These are made generally by the professionals who are competent in that. And though I did not have any chance dealing with such big names as Unilever, Procter and Gamble, Coca-Cola of the USA, Pepsi of the USA, and Nestle of the Switzerland. But I do make these agreements, the distribution agreements, for companies in different areas of Europe and USA. Then franchisee agreements. The franchisee agreements are made between McDonald's of the USA, KFC, Starbucks USA, Dunkin's and Donuts, Subway USA. Then coming for the Middle East and European companies which operate mostly Siemens of Germany, ABB of Switzerland, General Electric or GE of USA, Chandler Electric of France, Bouygues of France. Then there are joint venture contracts. Joint venture contracts are mostly used by Shell because they are for large scale infrastructure projects and they go with the joint venture, and these are the few of the companies which go in the joint venture contract. Shell of Netherlands, British Petroleums of UK, Total Energy of France, Equinor of Norway, ENI of Italy. Okay. Then the licensing agreements. These agreements give a license to the use a licensor's intellectual property. So Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, Apple, and Meta. These are the licensing agreements. They are used by Microsoft. They give Microsoft is selling their software or anything. Alphabet also from the Google, Amazon. These things. This Apple and Meta, they give their license so that a royalty fees by using their product or their software in exchange for the rights. Anybody giving advertisement on the Facebook or selling their goods on Amazon know that they have a license agreement which are made. Okay, now I'll share few important points. In case these contract fails, what does one do? This may be your questions, which may be coming to several people's mind, that in case these contracts go failed or something happens, what do they do? But in the meantime, I'll again go for a few companies in the USA, United States, which go on the supply agreements like EQT of USA, Southwestern Energy of USA, Chesapeake Energy of USA, ConocoPhillips of USA, ExxonMobil, which is another oil and energy company. They are making these agreements. Then transportation agreement. Transportation agreements is governed by the transportation of goods within a country. United Parcel Services, UPS, USA, FedEx of USA, JB Hands Transportation Service of USA, Werner Enterprise USA, Swift Transportation of USA. So you must understand that these agreements take place between various parties, which are mostly for transportation. They are making, I already explained these types of agreements, how the transportation will be done. Agreements are made, which will be a third party, warehousing, or only the transportation agreement. Now, coming to the final part, what happens if these tracks get stuck somewhere or they get failed? What do the companies do? See, in general, I will explain here nature or law of nature. You can say very straight. Law of nature is the biggest law in earth. There may be cases that a person given a appointment letter is not even let to enter in the office. I've seen people here, particularly in areas which I live, that unfortunately people are given appointment letter. Those who are very highly qualified, but due to political pressures or malicious activities, they are not let enter into the offices. Why do this happen? Because there may be certain reasons that even given the agreement, they are not given chance. In those cases, what do people do? See, in those cases, people go to the first of all, they try to resolve their issue within the comfort zone, say complaining to the senior or asking to resolve by some known people that let complete the agreement or let the resolve in the agreement. Sometimes it happens that a wrong fees is deducted. So there is again correspondence being made. Correspondence and communication is the main key to resolve each and everything. There is no fight or no war which does not resolve on a contract. Even the war between Ukraine, any war, even you say First World War, Second World War, any war, unless and until a resolution is there, then the parties resolve themselves to that thing comes to an end on a paper. That okay, now we are ending and meeting these certain terms and conditions, and this is abide on further such incidences. These laws and regulations will take place. There are world bodies like World Trade Organizations, International Monetary Funds, United Nations, ADV, International Court of Arbitration, arbitration courts. So let anything be happen, even in your personal life, even in your appointment letters. Say unfortunately somebody deducts say $200 from your salary. This is unfortunate. For no incidents of yours or no fault of yours, maybe due to some error, they might have deducted, but communication and resolution does take place. Don't be so hopeless and don't think negatively. Be positive and keep the other in a positive manner. If such incidents happen, first of all, try to resolve these things by a cool and communicative manner in which your personal issues or the conflict issues resolved in a cool manner by using your simple word of mouth, by using your personal communication, or by asking your seniors, or by asking someone to let it resolve. But if they are not resolved, then my personal suggestion is first try and seek for a arbitration courts, means a third party. uh, though I am also an arbitrator by qualifications and the means of law, I am a qualified arbitrator, but it does not mean that I am promoting myself. Uh, what I mean to say is take a third party into account, make a notice. If it is a say there is a conflict between two private parties, let a government official become the arbitrator and he resolve the thing. If it is a conflict between a government and a private party, let a third party who is a third party arbitrator himself, or a qualified lawyer or a qualified judge, anybody whom you can manage by yourself, make a judgment so that there is no one goes to the courts of law, because courts of law in various parts of the world are already filled. But unfortunately, if one has to go to the court of law, then there are courts open everywhere. You have to then go to the courts and unfortunately do your PIA, hire a lawyer. If you cannot hire a lawyer, you have that mindset. You can plead yourself and put your papers and pursue your case in the court of law. Then you will have to see. This is the way the life goes. There is no other three ways. The contracts are legal binding agreements, and everybody should say a warranty statement is also a legal binding agreement that no fees will be taken. Uh, if your computer or your laptop or your internet connection goes wrong, but suppose it goes wrong, then for small incidents will you go and for court of law, or you will complain, or you do anything? Let it resolve by communication. Ask them for favors. Okay, if the company is not their company has their own way, they have their own set budget. That okay, say for $1,000, in that $1,000 they have kept $300 for the warranty. Suppose that they go out of budget, they go in a loss, making your internet, Wi-Fi, or your laptop or your TV means working for you. So you have to take everything into consideration before purchasing and going on contractual agreement with anybody or any company. That is what I say. read carefully your warranty statements, read carefully your appointment letters, and do read carefully whatever you do. So this was the third type of contracts versus procurement, and tomorrow it will be international contracts and global procurement. So tomorrow will be the last day around the same time. It will be again around 12 p.m. GMT and 5:30 India time. So tomorrow will be the last day for this contracts versus procurement, and I will cover only the international contracts because it is an international platform and many international people are listening to me. Thank you for your time and consideration. Hope you enjoy the day. For anything, again, my number is over here. Thank you. See you tomorrow.